And all this will be part of the podcast?
Yeah, this this is part of the episode.
Okay. Have we been everything we've been saying this whole time is part of the episode?
Yeah, when
Just
we
hit
were
the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes in.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. I might ask you to cut some stuff out if that's okay.
Tony hasn't learned that skill yet, so we've kind of just been able to have to leave everything in.
We tend to not really bother him with asking him to edit things. He just kind of has his own system, and we just hope that he does it right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, okay. So he just does whatever he wants, and that's just how it goes?
Yeah, we just give it to him.
We're intimidated by him. It's kind of like a kick in the bee's nest situation where it's like we don't want to ask him to do something because he'll do the opposite and kind of hurt us. So we just are afraid of him.
It'll always be a whole ordeal. Yeah, I'm pretty intimidated of Tony, too.
It's a huge power dynamic sway.
I am so frightened of Tony. I opened my eyes at 3 a.m. this morning, and he was standing over me, and I think he was mouthing, "You son of a bitch." And that's, I think, all that I could hear.
Oh my god, yeah, that sounds terrible. That actually happened to me this morning too, so I don't know how he got into my house.
Kind of fucked up that Tony's breaking social distancing just to tell you that you're a son of a bitch.
Just to intimidate me.
Well, not all life can shut down, Tony's got stuff to do.
He was wearing a mask, to be fair.
Then how could you? I like that you said from the start he was mouthing it and not saying it, but you could tell through the mask that he was saying that.
Okay, so to be fair, I just assume he was mouthing "you son of a bitch." I just saw that his mouth was moving. I think he forgot he was wearing the mask, and so he was mouthing something thinking I could see it, but I couldn't.
And so now you've heard what he mouthed to me, and we can only assume that it was probably something similar.
Yeah, I would assume so. I feel like he feels the same way about me.
Tony was just concernedly checking up on both of you while chewing some stride gum or something. All right, they're doing well.
He's plotting to kill me.
This is how it feels to chew 5 gum standing over someone's head.
All right, we're keeping all this, but we got to do an official intro to the podcast. Gus, this is your time. It's time to go. Introduce the podcast. Bring us in. Welcome back to the Gus and Eddy podcast, guys. This is podcast 13 in quarantine. I'm not on the set. Gus isn't on the set. So and our guest Danny Gonzalez is not on the set.
I'm on the set.
Sick of doing what you tell me to do, Eddie.
I actually am on the set.
You're in my apartment right now?
Yeah, I don't know where everyone is, but I'm on the set.
Oh wow. Can you bring my mail in? There's some outside the door.
No. I'm just on the set, man. I don't know what any of that shit means.
I don't know,
bro. That's a felony. I don't want to.
Well, welcome, Danny. I also have to give an explanation for people who are thinking, why is it taking so long for Danny to be on the podcast? Isn't he one of your friends?
Yeah, can you explain that to me too?
Well, before, until the world went crazy, we only had guests live, and then I was like, oh, quarantine will end, and so I don't want to waste Danny's first appearance on a quarantine one. And now quarantine seems much longer than we originally thought. So this is the first. It does
seem a lot longer. Did you guys ever make predictions about when you thought quarantine would end at the beginning?
I thought it was going to be June in the beginning.
Yeah. I had a wager with my parents where we all wrote down what we thought, and Laura, when we thought quarantine was going to end. And so far, Laura and I are still right, but my parents were very wrong.
What did they say?
Oh, no.
So my dad was the most wrong. He thought May 15th. My mom thought June 12th, which is my birthday. So she was hoping that I would have a nice birthday. Laura thought August 1st, and then I wrote August 2nd just to, so I would win if any time after her date was correct.
Price is right at, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ending this on August 1st. So I think you won, Danny.
Yeah, I won
looking good.
I think I won the worst prize.
Done it.
Especially, I mentioned right before, not to have too much Corona talk, but I mentioned right before the Drew episode, I realized that we've all missed VidCon, which is our yearly boys reunion. So I think before next VidCon, we should have just a boys vacation, and that's my suggestion when everything goes back to normal.
I like that. Sven sent me a picture like yesterday or the day before, and it was like the 1 year ago today snapshot recommendation, and it was me, Eddie, Tony, Jakey, Sven crammed into an Uber on the way to Anaheim, and I was just like, fucking hell, dude, that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, we should just rent out that same house in Anaheim just some random weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, and still go to the convention center, whatever's going on there. It's like a WNBA game.
Dude, that would actually be kind of fun if we just found some like niche convention going on at the Anaheim Convention Center and just all went.
Like Pottery Con or something. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I had a really weird experience with the convention center where I think, well, for you guys, have you ever been there other than the 2 VidCons we went to? Or Danny, I think you went to 3, but other than VidCon, have you ever been to the Anaheim Convention Center?
I have so we went to Disneyland one year when I was like in high school because my mom was going to a convention that was there.
Okay.
I didn't actually go to it though, but that was my first exposure to the Anaheim Convention Center.
Okay, because I had only been there from the 2 VidCons, and then right before everything went crazy, I went to Disneyland, and we stayed at the Hilton, which is like pretty much connected to it. And so walking there late at night, I didn't know how close we were, and we turned a corner, and it was just that long open row of palm trees.
Yeah.
And it just felt so weird because I just walked randomly into 2 years of summer memories with you guys, but it was just completely empty and dark. And it was really weird to walk through because it was like walking through 2 of the most important trips of my young life, where it's just like a quarantine, like, I mean, not quarantine, but like dead zone, It's really weird.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah, but that was
Didn't
when
Disney
I thought
World
VidCon
open
was
today?
still. Yeah, Disney World did open today, dude. What?
Did you guys see that video that they released of all the workers wearing masks and saying "Welcome home"?
Dude, it's so fucking creepy.
Yeah. It feels like BioShock Infinite propaganda or something like that. Like I saw a Reddit thread where they linked to like the official Disney Parks YouTube channel, and it was just that video, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait to see the comments and dislikes on this one. And everyone was like overwhelming support, like, yay, I'm gonna be back there. It's like, you're gonna die. What are you doing?
I think,
my God,
I think
that's
I
such
could,
a bad idea.
Yeah, I think I could all fairly classify, I think knowing off the 3 of us, that we're like dipping our toes in being theme park people, but are not like intense theme park people. And it's like, yeah, I'd love to go to Disneyland, but I'm not gonna fucking get excited about it now. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
No,
like,
I
was
can't
a
get my
pass
hopes
holder,
up now.
guy.
it's also like, what are they really? It's, if you think about it, it's just based on kind of like public fear. So think about the case numbers when Disney World closed, and it's so astronomically high compared to then especially Florida, and they're just like, yeah, guys, we can't hear you over the teacup rides. We're just gonna open anyways. Teacup rides are way too loud.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. Why are they opening up now? It's so much worse than when they closed.
Yeah, I want to see.
I literally opened up Twitter right now, and the top suggested headline is Walt Disney World reopens as Florida sees record COVID-19 cases.
I'm gonna look up when Disney World closed, and then look up the case numbers, just to compare. So when did Disney World close? It was March 12th. I'm gonna search coronavirus cases, March 12th. Okay, so fuck. I just got articles, not exactly. It's like you guys stall for me as I look up this answer.
Did I mention I'm actually going to Disney World next week?
This bit's killing Danny. Keep doing it.
I'm finding like reports of the day, but not with. Okay, as infections in the U.S. Okay, hear just the rhetoric of this. So this was the day Disney World closed compared to now. But as infections in the U.S. soar past 1,200.
Oh boy!
Right now, I think yesterday we had 70,000 yesterday.
Jesus
Oh my
fucking
God.
Christ,
And
dude.
so
Wait,
there's
so what's the day that it closed?
March 12th.
Okay, so in Florida, March 12th, this only goes back to March 14th, but there were 38 new cases that day.
Okay.
And then today, there are 11,000 new cases.
Come
my
on, dude.
God.
How could they make that video? Like, welcome home. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's like
welcome home. You know how everyone at your house is gonna get you sick and kill your old family members? Welcome home.
It's like if you walked out of school for a fire drill because there was a small fire and they welcomed you back into school as like every window had flames coming out of it.
Yeah,
like,
all your teachers are wearing gas masks and holding axes in case they need to chop down your door.
Yeah, and it's like something is so extra added creepy about when Disney can be seen as creepy, it's just extra creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like welcome home just feels you can't say the phrase welcome home if you have It's a Small World as a ride in your park. Like it's fucking terrifying. Also, have you guys seen in It's a Small World they added like Woody and a couple of characters, but like the Toy Story characters look fucking horrible.
I think I did see that. Yeah, I feel like I noticed that last time I was there.
Yeah, and it's they don't look like the toys; they look like the Small World doll versions of the toys.
Yeah, which
why
is
would they do
creepy
that?
because the dolls are meant to look like human children, but cute versions. So they turned like toys into cute-looking, children-looking dolls.
Right.
That's
Which
perfect.
I'm sure they wrote that on the plan for adding Woody. They're like, well, we can't just put the thing is there's Woody toys. They could have just put one sitting on like a shelf and it would have been fine.
Yeah, honestly, hide him like a little elf on the shelf kind of guy or something. Like find the Woody. You know?
Also,
Oh, that
yeah,
could be fun.
the surprising thing that I never knew because I had never been on It's a Small World until March is that the ceiling in there is like regular office building ceiling.
Yeah,
Dude, I noticed that too. It's like drop ceiling.
It's so goddamn weird. It's like you're just in like an office building riding on a riverboat. It's so fucking bizarre.
That ride already looks enough like it was made by like kindergartners for like the school play. Like all the sets just look like they're made out of like cardboard and construction paper, and then the roof looks like the roof of like a classroom.
Yeah,
So
it's
the whole
weird.
thing just looks like a kindergarten project.
And especially, it would be one thing if you didn't look up, but they have things hanging and moving from the ceiling the whole time. You're like,
Yeah.
those fucking like styrofoam panels. Like, is there asbestos up there? Like, it looks so much. Is it still from the '60s? I have so many questions.
Which is so weird because Disney's usually so good about like making you feel outside when you're inside, like the Pirates ride.
Yep.
You just feel like so immersed, but then that ride they were like, fuck it, office ceiling.
Yeah, dude. Also, one thing I felt really happy about is I got to go on Rise of the Resistance right before quarantine. And that ride, I'm not going to
dude.
say a thing about it because I don't want to spoil the ride for anybody. That ride is fucking the craziest, like, event
So is
ride
that-
I've ever been on.
That's not the Millennium Falcon one, right?
No,
That's
it's a new one. It's a new one, yeah.
Dude, last VidCon, I wanted to go to Star Wars Land so bad because it had just opened.
Right.
But there, like the one day that we could have gone, Laura and Amanda decided to go because Drew and I were like busy all day. We had like our panel that day and also meet and greets in the morning. So they were like, well, this will be the perfect day for us to go. Well, I forget what we had that day, but it ended up getting canceled. So like I was like free all day that day, and Laura and Amanda were at Disneyland, but like
man.
I couldn't go.
Oh no.
Because there was one thing that I had to be back in time for, but like I could have gone if I had known from the start, but I just never got to go.
Was that day that you just ended up like napping instead? Because I remember running.
Yeah.
I ran into you like twice in the lobby, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't have anything to do." So,
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
dude, VidCon last year for you and Drew was so busy. Like, you guys had so much shit you had to do.
I know. Well, that's why I'm so mad that it got canceled this year because like I think I only signed up for like one thing.
Yeah.
So I would have had so much more free time to hang with the boys. But yeah, I didn't realize how, because that was the first time that like any of us were featured. So I did not realize all of the work that being featured could entail.
Right. And the sad thing is, like, we were moving toward this next one being the VidCon where we were finally all featured creators that were invited.
Yeah.
And then, you know, this is not the biggest tragedy that's happened during quarantine at all. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
this
I didn't
is
get to
probably
be a
the worst
featured
thing about
creator.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
The worst thing is I didn't get my yellow badge for the first time.
My
I am gonna have to-
backstage pass to VidCon.
I'm gonna be crawling through the mud like a purple pass mongrel next year.
I mean, I think if I have the yellow pass, I would be considered an essential worker. I don't know about you guys. I think that makes
That's
me
it.
important enough where I would be considered essential to society.
Yeah,
standard.
even outside of VidCon, if you just wear that yellow badge around, like a Michaels, you can get in and just do whatever.
Yeah, I use that to like get into bars. I updated my DMV information with that gold pass. They didn't even ask for photo ID at all.
Instead of a license plate, I have that pass and the lanyard just taped and hanging from my car.
It's like trailing off the back of your car, blowing in the wind.
Dude, also, I just remember, like, with last year, too, it was like, I don't blame people at VidCon at all, because, like, I feel like there are moments where it's like, how could they not give, Jakey a pass for security? And then you realize how big YouTube is, and you're like, they can't keep track of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy how many people, like, I used to think it's crazy how many people have, like, 1 million subscribers that you've never heard of. But now there's, like, people with, like, 15 million subscribers that I've never heard of.
I know, man.
Yeah. Dude, I opened up Twitter today, and this isn't YouTube specific, but I saw like a famous, I think he was like an Indian actor, got sick or something like that. And I was like, oh, who have I seen this guy in a movie? The dude had like fucking 44 million Twitter followers. And I'm just like, I just don't know who anyone is on the internet anymore. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I remember that feeling. I think I've definitely mentioned this on the podcast before, where I think I was like 11 or 12, and I found a guy's YouTube channel that had 1 million subscribers, and I'd never heard of him. And I remember it dawning on me, like, oh, this is getting big enough where I just won't know the whole community ever again. Like, there's just no way. And now it's like, we do it as our job, and I'll be like, oh, this guy's awesome. How many subs does he have? And they're kind of in our circles, and you'll be like, oh, 3 million? How the fuck did I not ever know?
I feel the most embarrassed too when it's like you meet somebody, because at these conventions you meet so many people, and then it's like you see them again, and I'm like, I'd have definitely had a conversation with this guy, couldn't even begin to tell you who that is. I hate that feeling so much, where it's like you just see so many people.
Yeah, I have people that I like run into sometimes, and I have had like really good conversations with, but still to this day like don't know what they do or like why I started talking to them in the first place. But I'm like, oh, he's a nice guy,
and then
but I don't remember his name or what he does.
You'll see them at the next convention, and I'm not faking even pleasant to those people. I actually want to talk to them again, but then I'm like, what the fuck? I should have looked this up. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That's what Phil DeFranco has had to remind all of us who he was multiple times. He's kind of, I would say he's like a groupie to the boys, I would say.
Yeah, it's just hard to keep track of like smaller creators like him.
Yeah, it's like, especially with that name, it's like, it's usually I'm thinking Flip, and it's never Flip DeFlabio. And he has to remind me always, it's Phil.
Dude, I wish I could meet Flip DeFlabio.
He sounds fucking great. He sounds like a fun time, but yeah, we're stuck with good old Philly D. And so
our cross to bear.
We had actually. Oh wait, no, I can't mention it on the podcast. Never mind. I was gonna. It's a merch plan thing that I have, but I can't talk about it yet.
We just go steal all of Phil's clothes out of his drawers and then sell them on Craigslist.
I think. Well, what was there? Gus, was it with me and you or me and Jay? Somebody I was on stream with. We were joking about adopting one of Phil's kids to him.
Yeah, we said we're gonna take him.
It was like we were just like, we'll take one. I think you said like the old one. We'll take the old one off your hands.
I said
not the older one, the old one.
I was happy. I'm pretty sure I said something that nobody like caught. It was something like I figured it'd be easiest because he's the most developed, and I meant like skills wise and not like anything else.
So weird,
but luckily, like nobody focused in on it, so it's
no.
All right, dude. I just meant like if I'm just getting a mystery kid here.
Yeah, okay, guy.
Teach him like, eat out of that bowl, pee in that bowl, sleep in that bowl. You know, like he's got his bowl stuff figured out already.
Yeah. Do you guys remember what age you were when you figured out which bowls were which?
No, I used to pee in the sleeping bowl, eat in the peeing bowl. Dude, it was so confusing.
Dude, I still get them mixed up on the reg.
Wait, Danny, are you still using your training bowls?
What define training bowl?
The bowls that you use up until you're 12 until you get your adult bowls, like your adult sleeping bowl, your adult poop bowl.
They still have the bumpers on them.
I remember my parents saying something about they're gonna get me adult bowls soon, but I don't think they've gotten around to it yet.
So you still have the bowls with the 2 mini wheels tied to the side of them? Or not tied. Screwed it. Tied. It's like a rope.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't balance on the adult bowl by myself, so I have the bowl with the training wheels so I can scoot around on my bowl.
Yeah, I remember having a lot of trouble trying to balance and stand on the poop bowl because it's so small.
Stand on the poop bowl.
All right, Gus, we don't have any mail today because we're both not in the... Well, actually, you have some mail.
First of all, I do. I'm not ready for it at this
But I was going
second.
to say, I was going to introduce into Preguntas.
I think I've got some like bills I could open up or just some like bank statements.
That's good if you just want to show your account number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about that. Thank you so much, U.S. Bank, for sending this in. This is awesome.
Dude, I just got, speaking of mail, I opened up my phone to look at the old Preguntas, and I got a spam email, and it's a 1-sentence body, and the subject line is, your burial insurance. And
You forgot!
Yeah, it says, and then first of all, I don't even have this, and it goes, $100,000 coverage, no agent will visit, no waiting period, fast approval process. That's the whole email. There's not even a link to anything.
So is burial insurance insurance in case you accidentally get buried? Like they will pay you, like if you have $1 million burial insurance, like if you ever accidentally get buried alive, they'll pay you $1 million.
Do they
to
like
help
bail
dig
you
out?
Bail you out? Yeah, is it like AAA for accidental burial?
Or is it for after you're dead, if somebody just happens to dig you back up, they'll put you back?
No, what they do is if you get buried alive and die, the company will track down your already dead body and then put a treasure chest full of gold in your hands so that when someone else digs you up, they reap the benefits of your burial
it's so you go into the next life with riches, just like how they buried people in ancient Egypt, with a bunch of gold. It's like you need a treasure chest next to you.
And it's not even just a service, it's an insurance just in case your family doesn't put the treasure chest of gold in your hands.
I know the kids are going to fuck up. I better fucking get this shit.
Yeah, you leave them the treasure chest in your will so that they will put it in your coffin, but those greedy motherfuckers, they just make off with the treasure chest. But luckily, you've got burial insurance, so you'll go into the next life like a god.
That's the next relationship advice thread on Reddit. Is like, I think I found my husband's mom's gold burial chest in his closet. Did he keep it? What do I do? All right, Gus, you want to hit some
yeah. Danny, are you Danny Gonzalez on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, follow us on Twitter at Danny Gonzalez, at Eddie Burbeck, and at Gus Buckets. Just look at me, the only fucking rube without his own name here, guy. And ask us all your preguntas. That's questions for our English-speaking viewers. We have a question here from B. Lim Paris, who said, who is the most iconic Steve in all of history?
Oh shit!
Fuck, dude.
So not even a Steve in?
Steve Jobs is the first that comes to mind.
Yeah, Steve Jobs jumps out of the gates.
So is this a pregunta or a disagreement? Is someone having a disagreement about this?
This is a pregunta, I believe.
Full-on pregunta, yeah.
Laura's dad's name is Steve. So,
I was gonna say Laura's dad. I wasn't sure if we were saying Steve Jobs or Laura's dad.
Heavy contender, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure most people listening would think Laura's dad.
Right. And
truthfully, I mean, there's no way to make it not sound like a meme, but if you're just going off of not accomplishments, but even fictional characters, the most well-known Steve ever, Minecraft Steve has to be on the top 10 most known Steves in all of history.
Yeah, right? I would say so. It would have to be.
Do most people know that his name is Steve, though?
I think a good deal do, and I think enough do that it would make at least number 10.
Yeah. I could see it.
I suppose Steve Irwin was pretty iconic as well.
Yeah, I would say definitely even the first answer, though, actually, like, Steve Jobs, and I know I'm sure there were, smartphone prototypes before the iPhone, but, like, the iPhone coming out, like, fundamentally changed how we live our lives.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot going on now that wouldn't have happened without Steve Jobs.
And, somebody else might have done it. Like, the Droid could have taken off that much, but I don't think it did. And so you got to credit him.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot in the world that's changed because of Laura's dad that
we
probably don't even realize on a day-to-day basis. But, I mean, yeah, he's invented so many things.
Didn't he invent the cotton gin?
He invented the cotton gin. Yes, that is true. He invented shoes.
Whoa.
So
Thanks,
most
Steve.
people don't know that. But most of our parents, as we all know, grew up without shoes, and Laura's dad invented those.
Right.
Damn.
And so that must have been tough for everybody pre-shoes. But yeah, we just don't know what that world was even like because of Laura's dad.
Yeah,
so
the worst part
Steve.
is he wasn't able to get a patent on those, so he hasn't made a dime off of shoes, but he did come up with the idea.
So he didn't even start selling like one brand of shoes. He just like came up with them and then just let everyone else run with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he will die without a penny to his name because he just hasn't, he can't.
He's
can't profit off the shoes.
He's like, I made this one prototype for shoes and now everyone's selling them. I wish I could make some money off these.
That's like if like fucking Tesla just like sidled into the back like of an office and just like, hey guys, just invented like electricity. Sorry, you guys are way cool. I'm just gonna leave it on the desk and just get out of here.
All right, welcome back, boys. Sorry, my computer just freaked the fuck out for a bit, and now we're back. Gus, what's the question that we left off on?
Yeah. So the question here is from @FuzzyheadMiller, and they say, sometimes when we're playing Smash Bros, my roommate will get on his phone just like in the middle of the match. He does this when I'm already losing, and it hurts my feelings greatly. Is this mean of him, or do I deserve it for being dookie?
What a disrespectful dick thing to do.
Even if you're like the guy in last place, I can't imagine any situation in a tiny short form multiplayer game where you should just pause it like that.
Wait, did he say that he pauses it, or does he just straight up get on the phone while playing him?
Oh, okay, I'm not seeing any mention of a pause.
Yeah,
because like pausing it is annoying, but staying on is just like disrespectful and a power move.
That's
like,
what I think he's doing.
On the phone and beat your ass.
Oh man, so it's still kind of like a bit of a dick move. I've played with people, not Smash, but like short form multiplayer shit, where they'll be like, hold on, one sec. Like one of my floor mates in freshman year of college, like we'd be playing like COD or something, like 1v1s, he'd be like, oh, hold on. And he'd like pause it to text. I was like, dude, wait a fucking real world minute to do this. Dude. Like this is so fucking rude.
Yeah, that used to drive me insane for, did you guys ever play Little Big Planet?
No,
I never did.
It was a really fun game on the PS3 where you could play multiplayer, but it was kind of like a platformer where you would all move the camera by going together in the level, but the main character had all the pausing power and power of the camera. And when I was 12, my friend John got his first girlfriend in 6th grade. And if we went over to his house, he would like play for 30 seconds and then pause and be like, hold on. And it was just constant that for the entire hangout to where we were like, dude, you just need to figure something else out. Like, this just doesn't work.
I hate that.
And so I said, leave your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm trying to figure out if this is like really an issue or not. I feel like it is pretty annoying, but maybe not for the reason that he thinks. It's just kind of annoying to be like hanging out with a friend and for them to be like taking phone calls.
Right.
Like,
it's
so
not like
while
something I would talk to somebody about, but maybe in the moment I'd be like, come on, man. You know, like it's not like a sit down and talk issue, but it is like it's just disrespectful.
You ever had a friend too, like that is just so, like just can't walk away from their phone? Like you specifically are just like, let me just show you something, like because I had same fucking guy too, like in college where we never watched movies together, and I prefaced and I was just like, hey man, like I want to show you one of my favorite movies of all time, like let's just sit down and watch it. And I just like 3 times during the movie I had to be like, dude, you on your phone? Yeah. Oh no, I'm watching. I'm just like, come on, dude, fucking put that thing away.
Yeah, it's the worst when you're trying to show someone something that means a lot to you and they're just like on their phone and missing the best parts.
Especially, I think the whole line graph of it gets worse depending on how short the thing is. Like, if it's like a 1-minute video and they pull it out, it's like, dude, you couldn't have waited 1 minute.
Yeah,
I feel like people don't really even realize that that's kind of disrespectful, and they're like, you know, because I feel like sometimes when even if it's not a phone, if I'm showing someone a video and even if they're enjoying it, they'll like say something to me during the video, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, you're missing the video. Yeah. Like they'll be like, oh, is he gonna do that? And I'm like, no, just watch.
The wholesome grandma and mom version of that I had all the time when I was growing up is I used to spend hours and hours at my grandparents' house, like making my little YouTube movies and stuff. And I would like work all day on something, and I'd be in the back of the basement, and I'd go up and I'd be like, Grandma, like, here, come look at this like video I made. Or I'd tell my mom, like, come look at this thing that I made. And it got to the point where they would interrupt so much that I would specifically preface and just say like, hey, just if you want to just watch like the whole thing, it's like 2 minutes, just watch the whole thing, and then like let's not talk until the end because there's like a lot of little bits in there, so like just don't say anything. Invariably, every single time I'd get 30 seconds in, and my grandma would be like, oh, I got that pair of shorts here, remind me to have you send that home this
man.
Or like, where did you shoot that? And it's like, I told you! Like, how do you forget so quickly?
Dude,
just enjoy the comedy.
I think that's something, I mean, especially with parents, but I feel like it's like very especially with moms, where it's like, I know you want to talk, but just watch it's one thing. Just like, that was...
It's the worst when it's like a comedy thing, and they'll talk during the setup of a joke, and then see the punchline, but be like... And just like straight face through it because they missed the build up, and so it's like, you missed the joke. I swear it was funny.
Tony and I have gotten to a point with our mom where if we're showing her something, that we have to say, and don't do the dishes while we're watching this. Stop, like turn the water off. We have to show you this.
Is that like a parent thing? Because I feel like all my friends have talked about like their parents doing that kind of shit though. Like just always, and not being aware of it too.
Here's what I fear is there's a couple of parent things that seems to happen to every parent, and I feel like it's just going to happen to us. Like,
I know, I'm so scared.
Like, is there going to be a point where a flip just switches in my brain and I'm like, I'm just going to be a little worse to wait staff? You know what I mean? Like, is that gonna... Like, my parents aren't, like, bad to them. But, you know, there's still even moments where it's like, to me, I'll go like, oh, it's not a problem. And they'll be like, no, we should fix this. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But also, like, it's fine. You know what I mean?
I'm lucky.
I don't even know if they're aware of it sometimes, you know?
Dude, I feel like I'm lucky because I don't have any stories like that. I feel like my parents are actually pretty good. But one of my best friends, his dad just seems like the worst around waitstaff. He'll do shit like if there's a wait at a restaurant to get seated, he'll just go and sit down.
Oh
like,
my
even,
God.
Like, with their whole family. So then like the whole family is like, well, I guess we have to also go sit down. So they'll go and sit, and the waitress will come over and be like, hey, there was a wait for this seat, and he'll be like, well, we're sitting here now. So, and then they'll just serve him.
Oh my God, that's the worst, dude. Because that fucks with, they have a whole system for, you know, hosts like putting people in different spots for like tips and shit. What the fuck, man?
I've told this a long time ago on the podcast before, but like we joke all the time that sometimes my dad, who is the sweetest man ever, will get situationally overwhelmed and just kind of have to throw his hands up. But sometimes that all of that overwhelming feeling culminates into like a restaurant meal on a family vacation or something. And I remember one time when we were on a family vacation and we went to like an Applebee's or something, and a couple of the things were wrong. Like, oh, I ordered chicken nuggets, not mozzarella sticks, like a bunch of little things. And I could just see him kind of just getting kind of quietly Pete overwhelmed and stuff. And the waitress came back. She's like, how is everything? And I know he wasn't even trying to be a dick, but he just goes like, everything's wrong. It's like all nice and loud. And we're just like, you can't just do that.
Everything's wrong.
He just was so overwhelmed. Like,
I can't even picture your dad doing that after meeting your dad. Like,
because I know immediately after she left, like, we were laughing. My mom's like, Peter, you can't say that. She's like, I don't know. He just got so overwhelmed.
He's like, the chicken nuggets were wrong. The loaded nachos were wrong. What do you expect me to do?
It's what I ordered, but they're just wrong. It's just plain wrong.
Pete's not happy right now.
That would be great if everything you got was correct, but he had this horrible feeling where he's like, everything's wrong. I don't know what, but it's wrong.
Yeah,
I could feel it.
I mean, the food is amazing, but the political climate, it's just wrong.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's not even that like my parents do anything bad, but I feel like everyone who is younger that worked in retail or food has like a voice where you're extra nice. You know, you talk and it's like the tone I want to express is, I'm not going to be a problem, dude. I'm the easy one for the day. Yep. Relax. And I love that because I loved when people would do that for me when I was working in food. You know, where it's like you go, like, hey, do you want it this or this way? And they'll go, hey, no matter what, it's fine. And you're like, I like this guy already. And I don't want to lose that ever.
And it's like, none of the service people are ever thinking like, oh, that guy's speaking kind of weird and directly. Like, it's always a blessing. Again, here's another fucking bingo for you. I've said it a bunch before, but like, my family makes fun of me for having my kind of phone customer service voice because I'm very clear and kind of falsely like a little bit cheery and I have good diction, but I'm like, I want there to be no misunderstanding that you're hearing exactly what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather sound like a little fairy tale princess character than like have you be going, what? And they're like, why do you talk so unnaturally? I was like, did they say what one time? No, I just ordered 10 pizzas perfectly, fuckers. Anyway,
I was kind of confused for a sec because you said diction, but you said you enunciated it so well that you said dick chin.
Wait, Gus, I want to hear it exactly. I'll be the person answering the phone at a pizza place. Get your order ready, and I just want to hear it.
Not even for the bit. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I do it. All right.
Okay.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, this is Domino's Pizza. How may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to place an order for delivery, please.
Okay, what would you like?
I would like 2 medium 2-topping pizzas. They're both going to be hand-tossed crust. One of them's going to be all pepperoni, all jalapeno. The second pizza is going to be all sausage, but with half of the sausage pizza being an onion topping.
Dude, if I was on the other end of the phone, I would think I was about to get like pranked so hard. Or something. It's like, there's no way this dude is being so nice.
There's a little bit of it where it's like, what's going on?
But you know what I said though.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. I wouldn't fuck that order up.
It sounds like one of those. Have you ever used one of those prank call sites that has like pre-recorded responses to everything and like a character's voice? It sounds like it'd be one of those.
You're never gonna believe this, buddy.
It's like, all right, and have a beautiful day, sir. And you just hear like, I will have a pepperoni, and it's just like you ran out of.
I liken it to Rob Reiner in The Wolf of Wall Street, how he adopts that weird British voice whenever he's on a phone call. Do you remember that little gag?
No, I don't actually.
Where he's like this angry, like, fucking Jordan, fucking, just like New York yelling guy. And then, but Leo's like, yeah, when my dad gets a phone call, like, he'll be pissed. And then he'll adopt, like, hello, Gene. Righto, right away, sir. Yes. And then he'll hung up and be like, fuck. But it's like, Gene heard him.
You are Gene.
Right. I am Gene. Dude, I got another little pregunta for you guys here, all right?
Let's take it.
At PXTTERSSON says, hey, what is a really weird phobia that you might have?
Shit.
I don't know if I have like a weird phobia. I don't even know if I have any phobias. I have things that I don't like more than others. Like, I think sometimes that one like open ocean phobia can like
thalassophobia.
Yeah, that'll like strike a chord with me, but I don't know if it's really like a phobia. Like, I can still get in the ocean, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Is it like the depth of the ocean that scares you, or just how open it is?
I don't like when I see like deep. Like, I like when I watch a Planet Earth episode that's deep sea, but when you see something like in the darkness of the ocean from far away kind of come out of the fogginess, I don't like the look of that. But it's not a phobia.
I share that one, yes.
Yeah, if I'm in the ocean and I get to a spot where I can't touch, I am scared. I'm like, anything could be under me and it's going to eat me.
That's like a proper, I wouldn't even say, because I'm sure some people have a phobia of it where they can't even see that kind of content, but I feel like that's a very proper fear to have, you know, because it actually is a very real danger.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you guys have any actual like phobias?
Well, I want to hear yours first, Danny. I have a follow-up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily like a phobia, but I'm always like really worried about being late to things, so I show up like unnecessarily early to things very often because I don't ever want to be late to things.
I will say,
if I feel like I might be late, I'm like really stressed about it.
Every time we've hung out, I have been not the first one there. So yeah, that makes sense. I'm usually I'm late, so I'm like the opposite for it. Where that's why I feel extra bad when I'm like, shit, Danny got here at a perfect timing, and I'm getting.
Yeah, I always give myself a good buffer.
Danny, what is it like? Does it kind of overwhelm you in a sense sometimes when like you're late, or like do you feel like really embarrassed or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I feel like when I show up and I'm late, I'm usually not even that embarrassed, but just like if I'm like driving somewhere, the whole drive, I'll be like sweating, like, oh fuck, I'm late. And I'm like calculating in my head how late I'm gonna be, but then I get there, and I like, maybe it's awkward at first if I'm going somewhere where there's people and I'm late, and yeah, but usually it's just the drive to get there or like getting ready where I'm like, I'm going to be late and there's nothing I can do.
One question then, really quick, Gus, is, Danny, do you get that feeling for uploading videos?
Yes, immensely.
Because I need that feeling so bad. And you upload so on time and so perfect all the time. So I would understand.
Well, I'm glad it seems that way.
Yeah, dude, I'm always like, how does Danny do it? I can't do that.
I start to get that feeling the day after I post a video. I'm like,
dude, that doesn't set in.
I'm gonna be late for the next video.
Dude, that sets in for me when I'm a week past when I planned making the second video. That's when I'm like, oh man, I really should get to it.
I was curious then about like your pacing of your week like that, Danny. That was gonna be a follow up. Is like, what does it actually like start that second? And is it for like a main channel upload, or is it like the sense to make something else? Like, hey, I got to make some Twitter content, or maybe like some second channel stuff. Like, when do you kind of reset to be like, okay, here's the next big thing?
I always am prioritizing main channel videos. So if I finish a main channel video, I'm like, okay, this is the next thing. I got to figure out what I'm going to do next on the main channel. And if there's any time in between where I'm like I don't have a good idea for the main channel, and if I do have one for the second channel, like that's when I work on the second channel. It's like anytime in the meantime, I'll work on other stuff. But it's mostly just like I finished a main channel video, time to start working on the next main channel video. And then I work on that until I finish it, and then I start again.
What about like music stuff or projects that aren't like as frequent for what you put out?
Those just kind of come when I have a good idea for them, which I feel like has been less frequently lately. But that I don't really have like a schedule thing for those. I do kind of have like a little bit of guilt when I'm like, damn, I haven't made a song in like a couple months. I should probably do that. But it's not as pressing.
Totally, also, then, do you, for like video stuff, then I'm assuming, I think we've talked about this before, so I think that's why I already have like half the answer in my head, is you treat like kind of like not just very distinct, but you have like a work week with like hours that you definitely work for, right?
Yeah, it sucked lately because of quarantine, because I would before structure a lot of my week based on when Laura wasn't home. I think I said this in a Q&A recently that I did on my second channel, but like when Laura is home all the time now, I don't know what day it is anymore, because the only way that I knew if it was a weekday or a work day is if Laura wasn't home. So
I haven't known the day of the week since I finished my last class in community college in like 2017. I have not known the day of the week since.
Yeah, but usually I structure like that's kind of how I would keep from burning out, is like I wouldn't work too much, because if Laura worked a 9 to 5, I would also work a 9 to 5 and stop when she would get home. So that was a good way to structure
that.
It.
Honestly, that happened too. Even when Chrissy started working during quarantine, that's when I had 2 videos come out like a week after each other, because I was just like, I have something to structure off of, not just like hanging out all the time. And that's especially just like when like Gus, you'd have, especially because like our channels work so independently, when it was just, me and Gus in the apartment, like Gus, you'd be like, I got this today, this tomorrow, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I think I'm playing God of War, and then maybe I'll probably run and get some hot wings later, and that's pretty much the schedule.
It was so
Eddie,
much
how
easier.
do you? Is when you post just based on when you have an idea that you think you want to dedicate the time to make a video about, or do you have like I should probably post this many videos in this amount of time or something?
It's become more of the first thing. It's more now of like, I mean, I don't know, because there are times where I've been talking with you or Drew, and I think it was like maybe God, it's like a year and a half ago now where I was posting like every week and trying that. And then I think it's just the way that I operate. I think you can tell when I'm making a video about something that I just sort of care about. Like, I'd never make a video about something I didn't care about. But you can tell there's like a clear, stark difference between something I really, really want to make and something that I'm making almost out of like necessity for me. And that's the thing is I feel like because of the podcast and because of Twitter and now because of like Twitch, I can especially like do content in other places and then be like, oh, because the thing is I didn't even, back when I started making commentary videos before I like had, you know, a following, it was the same way. I would make like 3 videos in like 2 months and then I have like a month off. It's like, it's never changed with how I've made them. So yeah, that's
interesting that you say that you feel like people can tell when you don't care. I feel like from watching your videos and like other commentary people too, I notice the only time I notice effort or like how much someone cares about something is when they really care. Like when Drew made the video about the console wars, I was like, okay, this is something I know that Drew cares about.
Right.
But I like any other video, it's just like this is just what they're making a video about. I don't know. I can't tell how much they care about it. Seems like they cared enough to make a video, and it's a good video nonetheless. So I don't know if I've ever really thought like I can tell like when I don't like a video, but I don't know if it's ever because I can tell that the person making it doesn't care.
Yeah, I think especially with, I would say just for mine, when I can speak on that, it's like I can tell even just watching my shit back that like the editing is slightly worse and there's less of like a vision for the video, you know? Because I'm just
yeah, that's fair.
Like, I think especially with mine now, a lot of it is like, oh, this would be cool if I did this or this. And then like if I go back to, it was when I posted, I think like the Caitlyn Bennett video, and then I think one of like the fucking plain potatoes ones. And then there were 2 other ones that were literally just me going like, okay, I need something to make a video on. This will probably be fine. And I just think for me personally, it's like I can tell that it's like I'm doing worse of a job because of it. And that's where it's like I don't think a regular schedule will ever work for me because it's just like not how I've ever operated with like even homework back in the day. Like I was bad at doing homework in high school, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think a regular schedule is a good way to set yourself up for failure in a lot of ways. Gus, you don't have like a regular schedule that you post on. You just kind of do whenever, right?
I have a general outline, and I've you know, like moved that around a lot in the last few years. But right now, generally speaking, it's about like once a week. The day is very fluid. I don't really care about the day, but sometimes if it's like, fuck, I don't want this to be like a Sunday video. Let me drop it Monday. Maybe Phil will put it in the show. Maybe like the Reddit surge will come back when people are back to work or something like that. But very rarely. It's just like loosely once a week. Like, hey, here's a new sketch. I try to do one longer video a month. That fluctuates a lot too. I have a longer video that I'm very excited about that I'm working on right now, but that's an off podcast one. But yeah, it's about once a week. But the thing is too, and I've spoken to this before again too, as I use that preface for the 3rd time in the podcast, that like I will have days where like I will do like a Twitch stream and then like send emails and maybe make a couple business calls and then like maybe, I don't know, do a project around the house where it's like it's a full day's worth of shit, but I'll still feel like, you know, because I didn't specifically maybe like write a script or like shoot a main video or do a little editing on a main channel video, I'll be like, I didn't do anything today. I feel so fucking frustrated. But it's like I did all this other shit though. You can't just be like working on a sketch every single day. I don't know.
I think what saves me from that mentality, and it's to a fault sometimes though, is that like for me, a lot of the times I see a day of more like leisure or like socializing, as in even if I'm just like playing a game with Tony, as almost like putting in my time for like my relationship with my brother or something, you know what I mean? Where it's like, totally. I don't feel that guilt because I put that energy into something else today instead. But like also you don't see like any... not in a weird way, but like there's only returns with work. You know what I mean? Like you're going to play, if you play 15 hours of Skyrim that day, you're going to feel like it was wasted, even though it made you feel good because you don't have a tangible like, oh, I did this thing.
Yeah.
But it did help.
I totally agree with that too. Like it's been nice giving myself more personal time, especially at nights and stuff. I think one of the reasons that I have such an incessant feeling of like, fuck, I didn't do as much work today. Like I feel like I'm never working is because I've either started talking with people about projects or started projects or have been falling behind on things. So there's always, no matter what I do in a single day, a general sense of like, yeah, but I should probably, like, I haven't fucking emailed Comedy Central back in, like, a month, you know? Like, shit like
Dude,
that. Where it's like, that feeling doesn't go away.
When the emails start to build up, that's when it gets stressful.
Dude, I can't,
and you're like I don't even remember all the emails I'm supposed to respond to.
Exactly.
I've got, on my Gmail, which is supposed to be my good business one, I've got 2,500 missed emails right now or unread emails.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I get that. When they started building a while ago, and then I just decided it'll probably just go away one day.
Danny, do you ever, you strike me as a significantly more personally and business-wise responsible person than myself, but do you ever find yourself in situations where maybe you'll respond to somebody or you'll, like, agree to do something or, like, express interest in it, and then you realize you probably can't follow through on it, and you just have to be like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. Like, you just have to back out of stuff? Like, how often does that kind of happen?
I feel like I more err on the side of trying to say no to things up front. Mm-hmm. But it has happened a couple times where I just like get in too deep and I realize I don't have time to do something. Yeah, that's like the worst feeling in the world, being like, so you know that thing you counted on me for?
Yeah.
It's not happening.
It's so
It's never gonna happen.
Dude, I fucking hate it. And the thing is, I keep thinking I'm getting better at doing that shit, but then I'll be in like a good spurt of time where I'm like, you know what, I'm feeling physically good right now. I don't have anything on my schedule super concretely besides myself, projects for like the next 2 weeks or so. Like, yeah, I could probably go do that show, or like, sure, I'll talk to you, put in 2 hours and do this video with you. And then it's like, oh fuck, maybe 2 days later a bunch of shit comes up, and then I not only have to fall behind on the things that I expressed interest in. Meanwhile, the emails are piling up, like DMs and text messages are piling up, so I'm not responding to friends and family. And then it's like, sometimes I'll have it and be like, oh my God, I told that guy I was going to do this thing, and a month went by.
Like, I know.
I remember there was one nightmare week for you, Gus, where you had a week back for tour, and leading up to it, we were also like just loosely being like, oh, we could do this night or whatever, and then you were kind of doing that of like, oh, I'm back for that week, so if somebody asks me to do something in LA, I'll do it then. It's a week. And then I remember you were like, I think I booked 10 things in 7 days because
that
I
was
just
it.
Yeah, dude, I remember being like, buddy, no.
I had such a fucking embarrassing situation last month too. Like, and it's not like I'm not hurting the guy by mentioning it, but a couple months ago, like, another YouTuber friend of ours, like, reached out to me, was like, I got this friend, he does, like, game production, he's really interested in you doing a voice for the video game or something. And I checked it out, and I was like, this looks really fucking cool. I could definitely make some time to do this. And so, like, I touched base with the guy, I said, I'm definitely interested, I can talk to you next week. And I looked, and I never got back to him. It just was one of those fucking things that fell through the cracks. And then, publicly, like, a month later, I just happened to come across his Twitter, and he just put out an open casting call for that position. He's like, hey, and I'm like, not even a scrap mad. I just felt so embarrassed. I was just like, oh my God, like, this poor fucking guy, like, was kind of relying on me. And I just, like, it got to the point where I wouldn't even blame him if he was frustrated and like, fuck you, here's a public casting call for this. I was just like, God damn it, I'm so mad at myself for that. But anyway, enough self-pity shit. But
I gotta stop the recording real quick because my dopey camera only records for 30 minutes at a time, so it's gonna stop recording.
Sure. Anyway, that's the vibe. So. Hey, Eddie, what do you, what?
Was that your, okay, just for everybody who's listening, I think we had a moment where just Danny had to restart recording on his camera, and Gus's way to jump us back in was, anyway, that's the vibe.
Yeah. Well, it also was like we were both silent after that, so it sounded like Gus like finished this really personal story, and neither of us had anything to say about it.
Because I didn't know what to say to anyway, that's the vibe, because there was no discussion for like 20 seconds beforehand, and then just anyway, that's the vibe.
I guess that is the vibe now that you say it.
Yeah, really, honestly, Gus, genius, dude. That truly is the vibe.
I'm the fucking glue that binds this show together, boys. Don't you forget it. All right, Eddie, I'm pretty excited right now because I think it's time. Danny, can you please say this with me? For a little bit of mail. All right, guys. PO Box is listen. It's not a damn storage unit, okay? And we're not accepting any packages, so don't send them in anymore, please. But we have a few more.
If you're thinking, hey, maybe the post office is a storage unit, it's not a damn storage unit. Just get.
I was wondering, can I send some stuff to you guys? I just need to store it for a little bit. I need to get it out of the house.
What did we just say?
If I could store some stuff at your PO box, I think you said it was a storage unit.
It's not a damn storage unit.
That's the only thing we said it wasn't.
Oh, it's not a storage unit.
Right. It's not a damn storage unit.
You think you know a guy, you know?
You think you know a storage unit, you know?
You do. All right, I'm opening this thing here. There's a top secret UV pen with a little black light in it, so I am going to go around the building and find cum everywhere.
Thank God no one's on the set right now.
What else do we have in here? Oh, we have some beautiful artwork. Oh, it's a painting, Eddie.
Oh, I want to see it.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I wish I could see it right now.
I'm picturing it. It's great.
It's so just full of paint and
it's
canvas.
I'm picturing it right now, and it's disgusting. Oh, what the fuck is that?
Oh my goodness.
If there's one thing I like about paintings, it's the ones that are full of paint.
Just slathered in the stuff.
I want that painting to drip for years.
This is a beautiful painting. It is a painting of us on the cover of the fictional rendition of Extra Cheese Please featuring Gus and Eddy.
That sounds awesome. Can you take a photo and send it in the Discord?
I will take a photo and send it in the Discord.
Yes!
I would love to see that shit.
From Casey. So thank you, Casey. I
Thank
assume
you, Casey.
That's John Kasich, who is just going by his nickname. So thank you, John Kasich.
John Kasich is the one of the boring guys from the 2016 election, right?
I believe
that's
so.
right. I was trying to
remember
remember why I remember that name.
Him and Biden went on like a tour after the election where they're like, let's just bring America back together. And it worked, and both sides love each other now. And thank you, Joe Biden and John Kasich.
This is a super sweet note here, too. This is from... Oh, wait. Yeah, that was from Audrey. I guess maybe somebody else sent it in. But Audrey is 13, and Audrey says, I'm 13. This is the first time I painted people. Damn, this is pretty good, Audrey.
This fucking rules. I mean,
Right,
sorry,
hey.
this freaking rules. Sorry,
This freaking
Audrey.
rules, my guy.
I mean, honestly, for me, like, a good painting that I would do, like, the compliment would be like, I can tell who you painted. And she definitely got that. So,
Yeah.
that props to you.
I can, yeah, actually, it is really, especially, like, I'm looking at it, Gus looks exactly like this in person.
I do look like that in person.
Watercolor and all.
Down
I
to
wear
your
a lot
orange
of
shirt.
foundation.
His face is actually canvas print.
Oh, yeah.
It's got this, like, canvassy texture.
Please don't touch my face in public, especially now, but even, like, after all this shit's over.
Dude, anyone who's touching faces, even before this, what are you doing?
Yeah,
know.
fuck off with that. I mean,
The double cheek kiss stuff, I don't think it's coming back, boys. I'm sad to say.
Here's my thing, though. People are like, are handshakes dead forever? I think people are going to be extra touchy once there's a vaccine. That's my guess. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I can see it.
I think hugs are back immediately.
No more double kissing on the cheeks. We're going triple kissing on the lips.
Drew made fun of me when we met for shaking his hand instead of hugging him. Who's laughing now, Drew? I was trying to stop the spread of COVID-19 back in 2018.
That's it. Dude, I get joking, ribbing guff sometimes for always. I am just a to the death handshake guy, though. Like, especially in, like, business situations. I don't care. I feel like that's a safe middle ground. Just be like, I'm shaking your hand. Hello. Haven't met you before. And sometimes people will be like, ooh, a little Midwest nice here or something like that. And I'm like, that's just, it's safe to shake hands if you don't know the guy.
That's what it was drilled into my head as a kid, where it's like you shake somebody's hand as a sign of respect when you meet them. And so I have to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on the relationship, though.
Well, the thing is, at the time, I hadn't even met Drew before at all. And so that was, I hug you guys now. Well, yeah. I wouldn't right now, but later, sure.
Come
I'll
6
hug you
p.m.
right now.
Danny,
Eddie,
I'll
drop
drive
a pin.
over.
I'm coming.
At the amount of times I've heard Eddie drop a pin, I'm coming in my life.
Drop a pin. I'm coming.
What would the purpose
If
of
you're
dropping?
quick, I can get there before I'm done coming. Come on.
You're not even touching yourself. You're driving over, and you're so stimulated that you're
Yeah.
trying to make it before you.
You're
finish.
driving over, you're still on the phone. Oh no, the highway's closed.
But I'm still coming.
Hopefully the detour is fast enough.
Did you drop a pin yet? I still don't really know where I'm driving to. I'm just driving.
Yeah.
Wait, Gus, are we doing one piece of?
Yeah, we're gonna make this puppy last. Who fucking knows when we're gonna get this shit again? This is our government mail ration for the day. So
Okay.
anyway, that's it for
Mail.
Oh, mail.
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 That's good.
I wonder
had a
how.
good question. What's that?
I was gonna say. Sorry, the way you said what's up. All I was gonna say is I wonder how out of sync that sounded actually
So-
with all of our connections, man.
So fucking
Okay,
honestly.
go ahead. I'm sorry. This podcast is a disaster.
This podcast is
So this is a
epic.
good one. This is tied into a little bit of what we were talking about before, but I was curious to hear, especially from Danny too. At Angela Kiwi said, "Do y'all think about editing choices for a video while you're filming or writing, or like do they just kind of come in afterwards?"
I'd say all of those, like, possibilities. You know what I mean? It just depends on the edit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
like if
feel
you guys
like-
are doing a bit, are you just kind of thinking like, oh, here's where I'm gonna put this, and like here's the general pacing and stuff, or are you just kind of going off the script or something?
I would say, well, Danny, I don't know if it's the same for you, but there's some bits that I'm going into thinking of how I probably will edit, and then there's sometimes just like a chunk of footage where I'm like, I want to make a very edited bit out of this, so I'll choose after where I'm like, I want to spice it up a little bit. But
Yeah.
how do you usually do it?
Yeah, totally. I feel like I edit all of my videos in the same way, where I know how a joke will come off with my editing. So I sort of write my jokes with how I edit in mind. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely that. And then there will be some jokes where I know, like, I'm going to have to edit this a certain way to make this joke work. But then, yeah, totally. When I am editing, I will... Like, you can turn things into jokes kind of when you're editing, too. So you can make decisions based off of, like, while you're editing, if you think something would be funny that you didn't realize before, you can edit it a specific way.
There's also, I would say, for all of us, I'm just wondering if you've had this moment where sometimes I'll be ready to record a video, and there'll be one specific joke where I'm like, this is going to be the best part of the video. And I'll record it, and I'll get to editing, and I'll be like, this is not good at all. I just have to cut
Dude,
this
that happens to me all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
why the fuck did I think this would be funny?
Yeah, and I think it's because when it's a joke that you think is that good, maybe it feels extra forced, and I'll watch it back and I'll be like, this doesn't land with me even, and it landed with me in my head before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Sometimes-
something about editing, like, just saying things out loud, I think, makes things not funny sometimes. Like, you can write it down, and in your head, like, the writing is funny, but then you actually say it, and it's like, that's not funny out loud.
I think
Especially-
sometimes. Oh no, wait, you go for it.
I was gonna say, especially with some like inside jokes that are still funny out loud, but the second you try to explain to anybody and you're like, I want to bring you in on this, but it sounds
Yeah.
so stupid.
And you
Yeah.
need so much context and backstory.
Yeah.
Like I almost just said that and then tried to pitch an inside joke that's been making me laugh recently, but I'll just tell you later because it needs so much context again too. But I think especially like when I think of like editing and stuff from a sketch standpoint, like sometimes especially when other people are involved, I like to think I'm getting better at being kind of like a director position and being a good communicator, but sometimes I get a little bit like, if I'm trying to juggle things in my head and trying to remember stuff and I already didn't like pre-plan a lot of the stuff very well, sometimes I'll just kind of be in survival, like just get all the assets mode where I'm like, okay, well, I know I might need like just a squeak or like somebody saying a quick line or like a quick whip shot, and then like I know I'm not making sense to other people, and then I don't want to be too much, like move people around, but sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, here, just here, Sabrina, just yell, just do exactly what I'm doing,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Like, where I know it doesn't make sense to people, but in my head, I'm like, I'm thinking of the edit. I need this sound in case I need to cut these two things together. And so I try to not make that confusing and frustrated for other people when I'm in the moment. And I'm just going like, Eddie, just jump and go, E! Just get E! Okay, thank you. You know?
I don't think I've experienced that end of it too much, but I think... Like, well, would you usually wait? So you're saying like a group of like, I think these come more from your character ones then, right? Of like getting just like a bunch of those things. Because I haven't had that moment where you're like, make this noise real quick. I usually feel like you do a pretty good job at giving context for that stuff. So maybe it's just like the sketches we do together are separate.
I think so too, and I think ours just feel a little bit more like relaxed and fuck aroundy as opposed to like acid acquisition. But I think especially like all the stuff that I've had to do for Comedy Central, which have all been like, you know, like the sketches I'm sending in again, I'm writing them, like I'm editing them. Sometimes Sabrina's editing some of them and stuff too. Like, I just know, hey, if I'm running into a shoot again, it's like maybe I'm showing up 10 minutes late and I got 4 people here and I haven't even like printed the scripts to them and shit, and I'll just be like, that is the situation where it happens the most, when there's lots of other people involved that aren't like, you know, the close circle of people that I just feel super comfortable with fucking around with. And then I'll feel like, fuck, I didn't prep them enough, or I didn't prep enough on my end. And it's like, I know how I can fit this together, but it's not worth the time for me to sit and explain stuff like, hey, I need this in case this happens in editing, in case I fuck up the mic on this or something like that. And it's just quick to just be like, just do this quick. But then it's just, I hate it because it makes me just seem so frantic, like as a director, even though like it's like I know it's gonna work out, but I like having people know what they're doing though on the set.
I'm glad that I don't have to really film with other people that much, because that sounds real. Like the jokes that I write, like imagining trying to have to explain to someone else how to like execute the joke seems really stressful. Like in the exact way that I would do it seems really stressful.
I've been told too, like not in like a, hey, fuck you, stop doing this way, but like I was told that something that I had a habit of doing sometimes when I brought other people on, and especially for the probably like the 5 to 10% of the time that I fully write out a script ahead of time, I have a habit of like getting somebody in, and I'm just like you say, like I know how it's going to sound the funniest, or it's how it's going to look the funniest, and sometimes I'll have a habit of not like saying like, Danny, just think of it as if you're saying this line and you're happy. I'll be like, Danny, I want you to go, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll give you the exact inflection, and I'll just line read for you and stuff.
Back in the day, like at Par 9, that was not very helpful, I gotta say, too.
Yeah.
It's because I think that's, I didn't even know that was like not supposed to be a thing, and then I heard in one of those like round table talks, apparently if you do that in Hollywood, an actor will like leave, like you're just not supposed to line read to them at all.
And it's like the reason I was doing that stuff is because I had failed so much on the like before the set shit, you know, like I didn't give people materials, there was no table reads and stuff, so it is in that moment I know the end result, what's gonna work, and it's like I did not do a good job of telling people like, oh, this is how it should be, or like here's what you're supposed to feel. So in that moment I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm running out of time, just say it like this, thank you, okay, sorry, like, and then I just would do it, and it's still annoying to people when I do that though, you know.
The thing is, I don't get how people do that correctly, like professional directors though. Like I don't know how you kind of, it's a way of like coercing somebody into saying the thing you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know, you sort of have to like tiptoe around it and try to think of other ways to say it.
Right, without being patronizing. That's like a skill that I'm sure it's like, that's why I think directing is so goddamn hard for like good movies. Is
but honestly, like, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Really, that was it. It's just because it's a really hard skill, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, I feel like it might even be helpful to tell someone exactly how to say it if it's specifically if it's like a comedy scene and the actor is not comfortable with comedy or like hasn't done that much before. If you're working with like a well-established comedic actor, I could understand how it's like, don't tell me how to deliver a funny line, but if it's someone that's like not comfortable acting funny, then I could see how that would actually be helpful to be like, okay, just tell me exactly how to deliver the line.
I don't know why I thought of it, but that perfect example is, I think on the set of Dirty Grandpa, De Niro probably needed some line readings of how to deliver things. Yeah. I don't know, do you guys know any person that's seen that movie? Because I don't.
No.
But it was advertised so much.
It was. It was just like, oh my God, this is a huge deal. It's sexy and De Niro. And then, like, it did nothing culturally.
Sorry,
or
wait.
financially.
Hold up. Did you say
that?
sexy and De Niro? Or so sexy isn't separate from De Niro, or De Niro is sexy in that movie?
Well, I just was like kind of pouring it on top, like a little garnish on top. Like
Tony, can you throw up a photo of De Niro and Dirty Grandpa really quick? And so you think that's sexy, Gus?
Okay, I mean, Tony, do me one more quick favor. Just right next to that existing photo, toss up like just a 2012 photo of maybe like Mitt Romney.
I fucking knew you were going to do Mitt Romney, dude.
Whoa, is there like a Mitt Romney love triangle going
Gus
on here?
thinks that 2012 Mitt Romney is hotter than 2012 Obama.
Not politically. I was not old enough to vote at the time.
Mitt Romney is politically hot.
Yes!
Politically sexy.
He is very politically sexy.
No. 2012. I don't.
At the very least, Danny, can you agree it is a toss-up, even if you fall on the Obama side of the fence for the looks? Again,
hold
I
on.
would have voted for Obama.
Let me
but
take a look. See.
He's got that thing, man.
Obama won the
razzmatazz.
popular vote for hotness, but Romney won the Electoral College of hotness.
No, I think Mitt Romney looks kind of like a Addams Family looking motherfucker.
What? Those are smile lines. Oh.
No. I'm talking. His brow is always casting a shadow over his eyes, and it makes him look like Frankenstein.
No, it makes him look like a man of intrigue that you want to ask about his many adventures.
His adventures as a Utah Mormon.
They have mountains there.
What kind of fucking mountain adventures do you think Mitt Romney's going on?
He
Just
would
dragging
go
a
tell
whole,
it on the mountain.
a whole box of Levi jeans up to the peak and just sitting there and looking around saying, yep, this is God's country right here, baby.
You hear about these jeans? Boot cut. They just came out.
He meets another hiker on the mountain that's in like full workout gear, and Romney's in like a pair of like Levi's or something, and just kicks the box and goes, hey, see these bad boys? Drag these up all the way from the base.
A jean shirt, a jean jacket, and a denim hat.
And somehow denim hair has been.
Do you
He's got blue hair. It looks like he dyed it, but you look closer and they're threads of denim just coming out of his head.
They should start making hair plugs out of that. Like, start getting middle school jeans that keep ripping off and then just implant them in.
Dude, that would be
Romney
sick.
can go full denim, dude. That's why he fucking lost 2012. Not enough denim, dude.
So the hairstyle would look like your regular hair, and as you get to a receding hairline, it looks like when you cut jeans into jorts.
Yes.
Just like hanging threads off of it.
Oh, yeah, so it's not your whole head. It's just like the hair plug section on the sides.
It's like, yeah, you have jorts hair.
It's like, you know how Jay Leno had that little, like, black streak in his silver hair for all those years or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, Romney's just got a little patch of, like, denim thread in the front of
Dude,
his...
that would be tight.
That... I might have to vote for him if he does that. I'm a single-issue denim hair voter, okay?
The only other cool thing I could think of would be like a Raggedy Ann, like red yarn type situation.
And the
Fake
dress.
red yarn.
Yeah,
You
you
can't go
can do that
without
with
the
dreads.
dress.
Easy. Just spray paint them or something.
See, Mitt Romney should have done that in the 2012 election, except, instead of calling half the country poor and that he didn't like them.
Yeah, that was...
Those say, I have binders and binders of women.
There you go, yeah.
Oh, man. Normally, Gus, check this out.
What's that?
Normally, we end abruptly, but we're not... That's it. That's it. That's the episode.
And, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say, so...
That's all Danny had to say, so let's end the episode now.
Do you think I can maybe close this one out since I didn't really get to, like...
Yeah, no, why don't you go close it out?
Okay, just wanted to say
That's it,
thank
guys,
you.
for the Gus and
Okay.
Eddy podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and that's it, so...
Thanks for closing out, Danny.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. In fact, invite me back next time just to close out. I'd be totally down.
Cool.